Hello, this is Bino. I'm an arborist and a certified tree worker. What I like to do on my channel is share tree climbing tips with beginners and experts. On this video, I'm going to work on a clove hitch with a couple of half hitches. It's a end of a line termination knot for rigging. So let's get to it. I've been an evaluator for ISA for about 20 years now, and it always amazes me how people fumble. So what I'd like to do here is do this in a way that's close to what ISA does when they're going to give you a test on their knots. What they normally do, they'll give you 1 minute, it's timed. A lot of times, you know, so there's going to be a timer thing. And a lot of people, when you get to being timed, you start fumbling and getting nervous. So what I wanted to do is break it down, show you how it is, give you some examples, and then move on from there. So let's get to it. You're at the bullpen and you've just been called. Now you're going to go over to where they're going to run the knots with you. So you get over to the tree. The evaluator will explain, you know, the different choices you got. We'll say that right now it's a clove hitch with 2 half hitches at the end. So what you'll do, you'll have time to get it around the tree, and I'm saying a vertical because sometimes you're at a tree and it's large enough to where you could just tie it on the tree. So a lot of times they'll give you at least, you know, they'll say, you know, get ready and then show us your the clove hitch, okay? And they'll say, hey, just go ahead, begin, we'll start the time. You want to make sure you're calm and cool. You want to try not to be nervous. All right, you give them the okay, ready to go. Now what you'll do is you throw your rope around the tree. Now for me, I like to capture the bottom of the long rope so it doesn't fall on you. And now I'm going to throw the other part back around. I'm going to bring it and I'll bring it back through. You have to make sure you got enough rope for your tails. And when you're doing it, you want to make sure that when you tie it, it's pretty close to each other. You don't want it all separated. And now when you're doing your half hitches, you'll go around your standing part of the rope. You'll do 1 half hitch, and the next one will follow in the same direction, 2 half hitches. So this is tie, dress, and set it. Once you're complete, complete. Tell them I'm complete. And that's a clove hitch with a couple of half hitches. Remember, the time will start when you go into motion to tie the clove hitch. So you'll want to be ready. And like I said, a lot of times it could be on a vertical, so it's a good idea to practice doing a vertical, just in case that's what happens. So I'll go in a slower motion and explain how I do it so the knot doesn't fall out on you. And afterwards I'll show you what I mean. So I'll begin. So I begin and I start by putting a long part. And remember, you want to have enough rope to be able to tie your half hitches. So the reason I'll come this way and I'll put the standing part of the rope on the tail end is so it holds it in place. So now that it's being held in place, now I'll go around the tree, I'll reach, and at the same time with my other hand, I'm maneuvering this backside so it stays tight. You don't want it to be all wide open in the back when you're tying this. So once I come across, I go through this cross, and that's the clove itself, okay? Now, once I get to that, now what I'll do is I'll do my half hitches. And a half hitch is correct when you're going in the same direction. These are 2 half hitches at the end of a clove hitch. It's a good rigging knot for, you know, smaller diameter branches and smaller branches in general. Here we go again, and I'll do it a little bit slower and explain why I tie it the way I do on a vertical. It's a good idea to get used to the length of rope that you will need to tie a clove with a couple of halves at the end. You know, and this is a thicker diameter. It could be a real small diameter tree. Just having the idea of how much tail you should need is a good idea. So I'll go to the tree. I always put 1 hand on the standing part of the rope. Now I'll reach around the tree. And as I reach around the tree, I'm going to bring it around and I catch the standing part. I hang it over the bottom of the tail. Now I'll continue again. I'll go back around and I'll grab this line and see how I put the cross? there's a cross here, I bring this tail through the cross. Once I do that, now I've captured it and you have a clove hitch. So you want to make sure these are all tight. They're not all real separated, the back part. You can see that you have one end that goes this direction, one that comes this direction, and then you have the cross. That's the clove. Now, with the remaining part of your standing line, or your tail, you're running in, you'll grab this, go around your standing, you'll make a half hitch, and going in the same direction, another half hitch. And that's the clove with 2 half hitches. What I'll do now is I'll attempt to show you the way, if you start, you know, from the top and work your way downward without using the running end to go underneath that standing end. So say you just go around the tree, and now instead of going underneath, the idea is that I'm gonna go around. I still have to go make the cross and then go between the two. So I'll be holding this in place, and then I'll send the other piece around, and then I'll have to go underneath it. And then I'll go through here's where the cross is supposed to be. So that would be the clove. But now I don't really have enough tail. Now, the next thing I would want to do is try to feed it through, but because I've already crossed over this, now I can't whip more rope and get more tail. So for me, it's always been a tough thing. You really have to know the amount of rope that you're going to use, and then it's harder to make enough for your tail to do the 2 half hitches. But now I'll say, the way I was showing you earlier, you can even start with a little bit of the tail. You put one arm over the standing part. Now you just go around the tree, and with this hand you grab it and you go around, okay? Now you can figure how much rope you're gonna need, and it's not gonna fall or go anywhere. It's not gonna capture this and hold it down. So now I could say, oh, now I got an extra 3 or 4 feet. Now I'll go around the tree, and now I'll go through the cross right here, and see, that brings me to the clove hitch, right? And now I could reach around, make sure that they're all tight. They're not all wide in the back over here. And I've gone through the cross. I have the tail that goes out this way, the running end, the standing part that goes this way, and the running end that goes out this way. And now I can do my half hitches around this standing end. So 1 and then 2, and I still got enough rope. If I didn't figure out how much at the beginning, I could still whip it around and make enough for that tail. Well, there you have it. That's a way you can tie the clove hitch with a couple of half hitches on the end. A good way to study that is to, you know, along with the video, study it until you think you have it down. You could even time yourself, but I would study it with a video. And once you think you have it, start practicing it on your own without it. Double check it with the video. Get it till you feel it's super easy. So that just like walking, you know, you want to do it over and over till it comes naturally. So also, we have a few other videos that we did earlier on pertaining to tree knots that will be in tree climber exam. You might want to have a look at those. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you like what we do. And by all means, share our video. Take care. We'll see you next time.